Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Awaken to Your Soul Path. And today I am joined by my lovely host, Robin. We are both a little bit sick and we've both had to deal with a lot of things. So we thought our topic for today should be loving yourself and your body, forgiveness, closure, respect, and the way we want to be treated both by other people and how we want to treat ourselves. So it's a mouthful. I'm not sure how to put it on the thumbnail for YouTube, but we will figure it out. And that's what we are going to talk about today. So hi, Robin. Welcome.
Hi, Barbara. It's been a rough couple of weeks, I think, for all of us. I have been going through what started out with a stomach hernia that turned into going on a cleanse where all I could do was drink water, very few solids, which is still that way. Started following a 28-day cleanse, which is celery juice, juicing apples, cucumbers, and smoothies, trying to cleanse my body. And basically all I've been able to do is sleep and rest. There are times when I don't have any physical strength to do anything. And it's been going on for about 6 weeks. So the other day, I woke up and I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. I had to use my computer chair just to do things in the house. And then I pretty much slept from Tuesday morning to Wednesday morning, just getting up for water and bathroom breaks. And it was a little scary for me because here I'm thinking my body's just going on a normal cleanse and that I'm just going to respect my body and do what it wants to do. And then on Wednesday night, I had a lot of pain. And so Thursday morning, I had my doctor take me to emergency because the other doctors about the hernia said that, yeah, if you feel pain or fire in your belly, you get to emergency. So that's what I did. And emergency did some blood work and they found my liver's out of whack, my white blood cells are out of whack. They did x-rays, they did a CAT scan. And on top of the stomach hernia, I have pancreas and gallbladder issues, plus the liver is not behaving. So what I wanted to talk about is that, Thursday morning, I asked my body if it wanted to go to emergency and it said yes. Now, previously, there's been many times I've asked my body if it wants to go to the doctor or wants to go to the hospital. I always get a no. But when I got that yes, I thought, okay. And after we did all these tests, I went, okay, my body was preparing me by cleansing everything out of my system for these doctors to find what they needed to find. So when you honor your body, you listen to your body, you follow what your body is asking you to do, there's a reason for it.
Mhm.
So, I'm waiting for a specialist to call me to say where we go from here. But I trust my body. I trust my spirit guides. I trust that everything's going to work out okay.
Yes, and I am the same. And I don't know how it's for you, but I find that my environment, meaning friends and sometimes family, have difficulties with distrust. And they urge you on to go see a doctor or a specialist, especially in the beginning. While when I communicate with my body and I feel this is not something you need to be worried about, just let it happen. I'm just letting it happen, but then the environment is sort of in a panic.
Yeah. And for me, being, I live alone and I really, my kids are busy with their kids and I really don't have anybody here to interfere with what I'm doing. I've really learned that I've had to rely on my body. Like I've slipped and fallen and bruised my ribs. And, I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my goodness, thank God I didn't knock myself out. But it is about trusting your body, trusting your environment, and knowing that if you're listening to your spirit guides, if you're asking the questions, you're
Mhm.
going to get the right answers.
Yes, I agree. And I also live by myself, but it's then when you speak to a friend and they
Mhm.
find out that you're feeling sick, and then the first thing is, have you seen a doctor? That's what most people think. And when you trust more in your oneness with it all, and that everything happens for a reason, and that you just as much as possible just communicate with your body and listen, because your body is wise, and your mind and your body are connected. So sometimes it can also be emotional things going on in your head, or dealing with a paradigm or something that expresses itself as physical discomfort or pains or stuff like that. But it can also be, and we talked about it before, the times where we are in at the moment, and everything that's happening in the world around us. Because like Robin, 2 weeks ago I entered in the same type of state, and it started for me with being bitten by an insect more than 40 times over my entire body, and also almost going into anaphylactic shock because I couldn't handle the toxins. And now my body is on such a cleanse that I woke up with severe stomach cramps. Like it felt like my lining was pulled out. And with acupuncture, I'm an acupuncturist, I managed to get that into my bowels. So now it's constantly my bowels, but that's better than my stomach. But I haven't been able to eat anything. I can only drink water. I'm also not hungry, which is not like me. I love food, especially when I'm feeling shitty. So these things, they signal to me also a change, because we are not the only ones with the symptoms. And this is also why I want to talk about it, or we decided to want to talk about it, because it's not that we enjoy airing what's wrong or talking about ourselves, but it's important for people like us that are out there that are experiencing the same, to know that they're not alone, and that something like this is going on, because it gives me comfort to know I'm not the only one going through this. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I borrowed a book from a friend. We talked about it last week, that medical medium, and I've just been finishing reading how important it is to have fresh celery juice every day. If you want to get your system back, you need to have fresh celery juice every day. And my first thought, well, celery's not cheap. And then it was like, well, you're not eating any other food. You're
Yes.
not buying meat, you're not buying any solid food, you're not buying bread, you're not buying all of this other stuff. So you can take all that money you usually spend on solid food and use it for the celery juice. So, and then you can also, he wants you just to do just celery juice first thing in the morning, but later on you can do celery juice with cucumbers and apples if you want. And sometimes I throw a lemon in there because I like the little spiciness. But smoothies, fruit smoothies, but no dairy. Like, I'm using orange juice in my fruit smoothies, or coconut water is really important, or watermelon is really important. But drinking these and eating this fruit that will hydrate your body. And it's supposed to be raw vegetables. I have, you can make up a green salad, but even then, I'm lucky to get a cup of a green salad in my system.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who say that that is very healthy for you, but that's not healthy for, I would say, at least 75% of the people out there. And that's because we are stressed, and stressed beyond our limits. And stress, it depletes our adrenal glands, it depletes the kidney energy. And in Chinese, we say the kidney energy are like the rechargeable batteries in the body, but we're completely draining them. And also the adrenal glands that are on top of them. And when you don't have enough energy there, you need to see the kidneys and their adrenal glands like the fire under your cauldron, and your stomach is your cauldron. And if there's not enough fire underneath there, the stomach is not warm enough, and the stomach cannot handle the things that we put in there, especially fresh vegetables and fresh juices and fruits, because there are fibers in there that the stomach can only digest when it's warm enough. And most of us, we don't have enough energy. There's not enough fire there because of Western civilization, stress, work, everything. So for a lot of us, doing the smoothie diet or green juicing or stuff like that, it's not healthy at all, even though we think it's healthy because the products in itself are healthy, but our body just cannot work with it. So if you try this, listen to your body. I had a friend who called me up in a panic, and she had such severe back pain that she didn't know where to go anymore, and she was crying, and she asked me to come over, and I explained her this story about the fire and the fibers and the raw vegetables and the raw fruits and why that does not mix. And I treated her for the back pain, and then her back pain was completely gone after 20 minutes of acupuncture needles. And she was shocked because she said, it's almost like I imagined it, like it wasn't there, but it was crippling pain. And this is the reason. So you need to listen to your body and not continue doing things if it hurts anywhere. And that's what I've been experiencing with most of the foods that I've tried, even when it's light foods. My body just spasms and cramps, and it's just no fun at all. So I'm sticking to water at the moment. But it's
Yeah, I agree with you. I was on water for at least 2 weeks before I started adding the juices. It got to the point where it was like, okay. And it's funny because I had the book, but I was on the water and the rest and everything. And then I got the intuitive hit to read the book and then start the 28-day cleanse. And I don't do everything that he says in there, like you need to listen to your body and do what your body wants. And
yes.
And I have added, a little bit of solid food. On Saturday, I went to my daughter's, she had a barbecue, and I had about a tablespoon of everything, and ate it, and I was fine, but the next day I woke up and I didn't want any food, it's back to water.
Yes.
So.
And that's a phase where I'm in now as well. And I've just learned to accept it. And like 2 days ago, all of a sudden I had this craving for what we call quark. It's sort of like yogurt, but yogurt is made out of dairy and quark is made out of leftover remnants of cheese. So, and my mind was telling me, is this wise? Because when your bowels are spasming, the dairy is not the thing to eat. And I thought, I know, but I have this craving, I really, I was mouth watering, and I had no appetite for food at all before that. So I decided to just listen to my body. Mm-hmm. And I ate the quark, and I enjoyed every bite of it. It was divine. And then at 3 a.m. at night, everything came out with a lot of pain. But I think it needed to happen because the spasming after that is a whole lot less. So I think it actually helped my body to get rid of a lot of it. And it actually feels better after, even though it was not fun at 3 a.m. in the morning, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I go through the same thing. It's like, okay, well, we're going to eat a little bit of this. Like I took carrots and I cut them up for the size of my food processor, but I soaked them in filtered water for 2 hours because I carrots and me, there's that earthy taste and I don't like it. And so I soaked them in the filtered water, put them in the food processor, and added a can of pineapple tidbits to it. And I can eat a little bit of that. So again, you're putting a little bit of fiber back into you, but the pineapple enzymes help break down the carrot. And, I've had a little bit of that, not much, but it's like when I ask, what can I do? Then I get the messages. And it was like the same thing. I said, I don't like the taste of carrots. How can I make my carrot taste better? And that's when I got the download, put it in your filtered water for 2 hours. And I'm like, whoa, what a good idea.
Yes, that's a very good idea. And it's also a very good example of listening. And if you are one of those people out there that think, yeah, but how do I know what my body wants? Because you're just not that in contact with your body, which is possible. A very simple way of testing things is to just put it on your stomach and then to do, for instance, the O-ring, and then pull and see if you try to close it, and if you can very easily pull through it, then it's giving your body stress and you better not eat it. And if you can keep your fingers closed without being Hercules, but normal pressure, and you can keep it closed, then you know that it's a food that you can eat and that your body wants it. And this is an easy way of testing things if they're good for your body, not only food but also other things. If you're not that in tune with your body yet, that you can actually ask and know how to listen for an answer.
Right. I usually, because my yes is straight through and my no is solid, I will go, show me a yes, show me a no, and then I'll test.
Yes, that's another way of working with it. It's indeed dependent on what you want to test and what you've defined as your yes and your no moment.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Indeed. And I think it's not just the physical things that are happening, because there are also happening emotional things in my life, and I think also in yours at the moment, that just are plain sucky. And there are people who treat me in this case in a way that I don't want to be treated in, and that left me shocked as to, I had never ever expected behavior like this from that person. And if it had been a do or die type of question, I would have said this person was not capable of this behavior. So I see that with multiple people, that their behaviors change so much that you don't recognize the person anymore. And that can also wreak havoc with you as a person and the way you see yourself and how you think about yourself, especially if they, like what happened to me, sort of abuse their power over you, in this case my love for that person, and then sort of make you do things that you don't really want to do in that context. And in those cases, I think it's really important to be kind to yourself and to not judge yourself, especially not harshly. Don't think less of yourself, and just forgive yourself for being a loving person, basically, and wanting to see the best in people and being there for people even when it's not good for you. You've plenty of experience with those types of situations also, right, Robyn?
Yes, and it's interesting because I had a friend of mine come over last night, and she did a healing on me. And there was a lot of anger and hatred and frustration that was being held in those organs. And I kind of looked at her and I thought, I just kind of thought I'd gotten rid of a lot of that. But then she kind of reminded me of some of the words I had just used. And then, we're talking, and it was like, yeah, I kind of was like, I was in that headspace. Well, how come other people have spouses who will take care of them? How come I'm here alone on my own at this time in my life? Why haven't I attracted that healthy, loving relationship? And I thought, oh yeah, that is anger, hatred, frustration. So all of those emotions that I have literally been going through for the last 6 months, because we've all been clearing these emotions, our pasts has come up to us, our past memories have come up. We've been asked to let go of things. And, because we think about it, and we, I'm reading a book where this husband and wife travel the world all over the place, and he takes care of her and she gets to do all of her spiritual stuff. I was like envious of that. You're reading this and you're envious. Well, why couldn't I have had this? So when I thought about what she said was in my belly, I thought, yeah, if I take all of the emotions I've had over the last 6 months, absolutely, this area is still full. So, we called in a lot of unknown angels. We called in angels. We called in spirit guides, asking them to help me release this energy. So sometimes we're just not aware of what we're holding in our body.
Yes, and they don't call our bowels our gut brain for nothing.
Hmm.
So there are, I've done neuroscience studies, and they show that basically we have just cells, and those cells can become anything that they are required to be. So the same cell can be a brain cell, it can also be a bowel cell or a stomach cell or whatever. And they have shown now with research, scientific research, that what we think influences us on a cellular level. So if we then look at the bowels as the gut brain, and we are trying to step into the role that we are here to fulfill, but we need to kind of let go of all the weight and the ballast that we have gathered in the however many years we are old time, then it's no wonder that our bowels protest every now and then, right?
Yeah, it's our whole body. We need to remember to go into our heart and listen to our heart, and think with our heart, not our brain, and then trust that if we listen to that intuitive hit, we're going to get help. Now, I needed help, and I had asked for help. Like, I mean, I'm working with my spirit guides on the other side, but sometimes we need that physical touch, that person to come and touch us, make us feel loved and wanted and appreciated, and just to be our facilitator, because we can't always do it ourselves. We need somebody to help facilitate, remove things from our body, to help us facilitate what we're ready to let go of. And it was a very gentle healing. It was really nice.
I love that. I love that very much. You know, there are many types of healings that you can choose, and it's beyond the scope of today's talk to talk about all of them. But you can already self-heal. You know, one of the things that we do as soon as we are hurt somewhere is put our hands on top of it. That's basically what Reiki is. So that's also what you can do for yourself. You don't have to be a Reiki master to be able to Reiki yourself, to be able to send energy to a hurt place with your own hands yourself. Which is one of the things you can do. Emotional freedom techniques, tapping in layman's terms, is also something that you can very easily do yourself. And there are a wide range of people out there like Robyn, like me, that you can contact if you want more specific type of healing, or if you want to make sense of everything and also want to talk, which can also be healing, because mind and body are connected. So we often also want to understand why things are happening to us. And as soon as we understand, there comes this inner peace, which is also beneficial for our body, because our body has this huge capability of regenerating, of self-healing. And we need to tap into it, but we also need to trust it, and trust in what our gut or our intuition, or however you want to call it, is telling us. And that starts with being in connection with your body, and learning to feel the signals and interpret the signals. And that sounds really easy, and it is easy once you understand how it works, but before you understand how it works, it can be a really tricky thing.
It takes practice. Like, learning to listen to your intuition takes practice. And I mean, it's usually that first thought. That first thought is the right one, but a lot of times you can talk yourself out of it.
Yes.
And it's important to practice your intuition, and you can practice it with, okay, I got this intuitive hit, I'm going to pull out a deck of oracle cards and ask if this is correct, and then you pull the oracle cards around it. So there's ways of double checking your intuition so that you can learn to trust it.
Yes, definitely. And if you are interested in even more ways of working with your intuition, reach out. We both have a free coffee chat. We would love to talk to you about it, because there are so many ways. But if you are experiencing any of what we are talking about today, then chances are you are an energy sensitive being, sometimes called a highly sensitive person, sometimes called an empath, a light worker, a dark worker. There are many, many more names out there. And you need to learn how to stay in contact with yourself, how to learn to listen to your intuition and what to do next. And that's what we are here for. So I hope that today's talk was informative for you if you watched or listened. I would also love it, or we would love it, if you would share what was the most insightful thing for you below this video, or if you have any and all questions, also post them below this video. We will answer them in person. And we would like to thank you for being here, for watching, for supporting us. And we would love to talk to you again in our next episode. Any final words, Robynn?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.